We can do some other stories now, still security related. And, quote, I remember my late husband whom they shot dead. Now, those are the words of a 30-year-old widow who is struggling to survive almost 2 years after a police patrol team. Lance Corporals Francis Appiah and Emmanuel Tete were gunned down by the Winneba Police Patrol team, which claimed to have mistaken them for armed robbers at Gomoa Pomadze. Now, Joy News checks reveal that shooters are still at post 20 months after the incident. Now, before we find out what the police have done about this case, let's first hear again from one of the widows, Patience Tete.
Your friend is saying?
Odi Lawrence Tete.
What is he saying?
Oh, 6 years.
Nah, and son I say Musi, none addition to saying.
Right now, I have transferred my son from Winneba to my village in the Volta region. I did that because I don't have the money to pay for his school fees at Winneba. My son's education has been from good to bad because of the change in school. The police authorities have failed to give us the money we need. They promised to give us monies for our upkeep. It's been almost 2 years now, and we've not received any money. Anytime I go to Winneba and I see the 2 police officers who shot my husband, my heart bleeds. They are still at post and are working as if nothing has happened. And that gets me very angry. I want the IGP to strip these men off their uniforms. That is when I'll know I have been served justice.
Well, my colleague Francis Aban, who's been following the case, joins me in the studio now for some updates on this particular one. Now, Francis, you've been in touch with the families since the story aired. Are there any new developments?
Well, unfortunately, we haven't heard much. The families, I've been speaking to the widows since last night, even this morning. They tell me that since the story aired, I mean, there's been no response from the Ghana Police Service. No one has called to ask about what's happening. But the only thing is that they've heard from relatives who've called to say, okay, we've seen your story online and on radio and TV, but as to whether the police service have acted, that is the question. They're still struggling. In fact, when I spoke to Patience this morning, the one you just played the interview with, she says she's home, just remitted the son some 200 cedis this morning to pay for her upkeep in the village in the Volta region. But for her, she can't even afford to buy food today.
Wow. I know you've been trying to get some answers from the police. How far with that?
Well, yeah, since Monday when we aired the story, I've been in touch with the police hierarchy. I've spoken to the director of public affairs at the Ghana Police Service, and that's Ampa Benning. He tells me that he is on another assignment, and that when he comes back, he will come and give us the information as to when that will happen. He says sometime next week. I also called up Mr. Sefas Arthur, he's with the Ghana Police Service, also tells me that he's also on another assignment and that they'll look into the matter a bit later. But the thing is, we cannot wait too long for this because the families are still struggling. It's been 20 months already. They've had to wait too long to get some help. It's still difficult for us.
But Francis, are you hopeful justice will be served to these families?
Well, I am. I am hopeful because in as much as the plight of these 2 families is a very difficult one, I think telling their story already has had a certain impact on people. People have already called and asking what they can do to help. We know that for the Human Rights Initiative, they've raised questions as to why the Ghana Police Service are failed to do this. And remember that in 2013, when this incident happened, it was big and large on all the media stations. And the response from the police service, the hierarchy, the top hierarchy, was quick, that they would investigate, they would get to the bottom of this, they would have the families taken care of. Also, the 2 men who were implicated in this will be dealt with. The sad part, however, I need to add is that these 2 persons who shot Lance Corporals Francis Appiah and Emmanuel Tete, guess what? They're still at work. Wow. When I went to Winneba on Sunday, almost all the residents I spoke to tell me that, look, we see them every day. They're still working. They're with the band. They are sent on operations within the city, and they see them all the time.
So as of now, the police is practically doing nothing about it.
That is with what we know, because they haven't told us anything.
Okay.
They haven't told us anything. On the evidence of what the families are telling us, it looks as though nothing has been done about it.
Okay. Friends, we'll keep an eye on this and we'll bring viewers up to speed with any new developments as regards this particular story. Now, Now, the Adaklu district in the Volta region is deficient in police personnel as well as police stations. The district is made up of about 53 communities, has only one police station at Adaklu-Waya, which is being policed by less than 2 officers.
Station Officer Inspector Godwin Kotahi noted policing in the district is a big challenge since the ratio of policemen to civilians is outrageous. The station does not have an official vehicle, but a concerned resident has given a motorbike to facilitate their work. The station has 3 offices, 2 cells furnished with toilet and bath, an armory and a charge office. There is no computer for compiling data, and so officers file only hard copies of documents. There is no camera for mark shots of suspects. Though provision has been made for water, the water tanks available can neither store nor supply water to sanitary facilities in the station due to shoddy work by the plumber. Interestingly, the station's armory was not locked when Joy News visited. However, residents are impressed with efforts of the police in enforcing law and order in the community. Nonetheless, they are pleading with the government to resource the police and provide the police with the requisite equipment to enhance their work.
They need vehicles so that the work is easy in the area. Because of lack of mobile vehicles, they delayed when complaints are given in the station. So I appeal to the government to supply them with vehicles.
Yo abeleke ufamo be Adaklu unami district le Adaklu la security or police unami la olo for doji alegbe.
The work of the police is encouraging, but there are only few of the officers around. The station does not have vehicles as well, making the work of the police difficult. We are pleading with the government to provide the Adaklu-Waya police station with vehicle and more men to help combat crime in the district.
And more boy, I don't know one way. Damn, kuku debe Ghana jirudwa nekpere nianu Adaklu district mbe wana police obe watano ama ano doji be omano kuhire kakpole dona omo albe dona ona yingo.
Pupils of Ziavi Lume EP Primary School are studying under some very poor structures that can actually be described as dead traps. Now, built of clay, the over 40 years building has started developing cracks with some of its wooden structures decaying. Now, Joy News' Fred Kwame Asari has been following this story and he came through with this report.
Portions of the front ceiling are also falling off, posing danger to these youngsters. The classrooms have no doors or windows, leaving the pupils and teachers at the mercy of the weather. Kindergarten 1 pupils are housed in this decaying wooden structure due to the unavailability of a permanent classroom. Teachers complain snakes often enter the classrooms because the woods are decaying. They also lamented that no special teaching materials have been provided for the kindergarten and nursery departments, making teaching and learning difficult. Though there is a library facility, it is not spacious and there are no chairs and tables for pupils to sit and read. Out of 8 computers presented to the school by inhabitants of Ziavi Lume, only 2 are functional. Through communal labor, help of an NGO and the MP for the area, 2 3-unit classroom blocks have been constructed for the school. Natives of Ziavi Lume, recognizing the significance of education, instituted an annual celebration to raise funds to help improve infrastructure in the school. Those who could not pay a levy imposed on them contributed foodstuff to be sold during the celebration. Funds from the celebration have been channeled to commence construction of another 3-unit classroom block, which is at the roofing level. Speaking to Joy News, Chairman of the Planning Committee, Wisdom Awude, noted that it has become necessary for residents to use self-help initiatives to shape the future of their young ones.
I normally watch on TV how newscasters or news readers go to the rural setup to find out the problems they have with their communities. You see children studying under trees and at the end they say, oh, we appeal to the government to come to our aid to build them school, classroom and other things. But here we are doing our own initiative. This is not the first one. The ICT is not the first one. We've built classrooms for the pupil, the primary school, and then the JHS. We have good school buildings for them. So what I will appeal to other people is that they should also take this initiative by themselves.
Fred Kwame Asari's report for Joy News.
Headphones, once associated with a portable music playing device called the Walkman, has become a vital accessory for mobile phones and other electronic gadgets. An increasing number of people are plugging them into their ears because they are convenient and assure users of confidential listening. Health experts, however, fear many of those using earphones are unaware how harmful they could be. Now, Bibi Bidio Alfo in the following report says, as pretty and cool as they are, they could be very harmful to your ears.
Casually referred to as the earpiece or hands-free, one is bound to find a pair in almost any mobile phone package. That way, you can conveniently answer your phone calls, enjoy music or your favorite radio station, listen to your voice notes, or even watch those quirky videos that keep making the rounds on social media. There are those, however, who would want to invest a lot more for their listening pleasure and so would go for more elaborate and stylish headphones. The danger, however, is that many are gradually destroying their sense of hearing unknowingly.
I enjoy music. I like reggae, listening to reggae music, so my earphone is always inside my ears, listening to music. Yeah, I often use it as call. I use it to make call. I use it to do everything. Sometimes I even sleep with it.
When I'm in the market, I don't want to listen to anybody. I put my earpiece and listen to my music. The volume, sometimes, if I don't want to listen to anybody at all, I increase the volume because to pay my attention, to focus on what I'm listening to.
The World Health Organization, in its 2015 report, estimates that 1.1 billion people are at risk of permanent hearing loss due to unsafe listening. 50% of this figure represents the youth, who are largely guilty of using these gadgets. Though some of the modern devices, such as this BlackBerry, warn users about excessive volume levels, many tend to ignore. Other users, though fully aware of the dangers, say they are hooked on listening at high volumes.
News and I'm sports, but they are sports news.
I use the earpiece all the time to monitor the news and sports on radio. I've been warned about its effects on the ear, but I'm sort of addicted to it. I sometimes have difficulty in hearing.
A senior audiologist at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Jumaima Anwafin, explains how the earpiece can affect one's hearing.
Anatomy of the ear has ways of reducing sound getting into the ear. So when we are using the earpiece, you are bypassing that because we have the pinna and then the ear canal. So once you put the earpiece deeper into the ear, it means that now you are increasing the intensity of the sound more than it should go into your ear. Unlike maybe you are using the headphones, the intensity is louder with the earpiece. So if you are using an earpiece in your ear, and I always say that if somebody can hear the sound of your music from outside, or another person can hear you when you are listening with the earpiece, then the sound is too loud for you. It tends to damage the outer hair cells, and then usually you begin the exposure, and then you get a temporary loss of hearing. And you can get noise ringing in the ear as well, and fullness in the ear.
She offers a simple test of what harmful listening is.
If you are using the earpiece, we advise at least you reduce the volume. Because normal conversation is around 60 decibels. Yes, so if you are reducing the volume, you can't really measure, but if it's too loud, you'll be aware that it's too loud. Yes, and you can use it within just about an hour throughout the day. So it can be reduced into 15 minutes per time that you are listening, so that you can meet your 1 hour within the 24 hours.
Salif Afu, who sells earpieces, would not want a ban on their use, and so has been advising his customers about its proper use.
It's like even white people, they created the earpieces, but they don't use it like the way we are using it. You understand it? You understand it? So I don't know. Sometimes, you know, black man have black this thing. You understand it? When you use it, you think you are enjoying it. You understand it? It's not like that. It's low. If you are enjoying it, at least you have to lower the volume. You understand it? So that you can listen. In case something is, or someone is calling you, you can hear the person. You understand it? But we black, sometimes when you are using it, we open the volume loud, like someone is calling you. You can't hear anything from them. You understand it? That's the problem. So sometimes when they came to buy, we used to advise them, but sometimes they don't listen.
The hearing impairment hazard remains real, especially considering many people are opting for the earpiece. Hopefully, those stories such as this would alert you excessive use could lead to hearing loss, and you wouldn't want that. Bibi Bedua Affol's report for Joy News.
Now on to our next story. I must warn you though that the images you'll be seeing as we roll this story are quite gory, so viewer discretion is advised here. Now, 29-year-old graphic designer of Evolution has been shot dead by armed robbers at Kwashiman here in Accra. Now, the victim, Francis Thomas Anderson, also known as Papa, left behind a pregnant wife. Beatrice Edu brings us up to speed on this particular story. Very sad, I must say, Beatrice. Can you describe to us what you saw when you went there?
It's a two-bedroom apartment, and when you get to the place, it's a very decent neighborhood, and it's painted white with with an ash gate. Immediately, I stepped at the gate. I saw spots of blood at the right side of it. It's a one-story building, so I walked in, and from the last staircase on the floor to the first floor is filled with blood. And when you get to the first floor, the place you get to is the hall. Blood spread all over everywhere. In fact, I couldn't breathe. At a point, I even wanted to vomit. It's such a, you know, terrible scene to behold, I must say.
So, at this point, do we describe this as a burglary or burglary gone bad or an assassination?
I can't tell. What I've been told by the family, I actually spoke to the uncle as well as the mother. The uncle first, Mr. Udro, he told me that the man was in his room around 1 a.m. and obviously he heard strange voices there. So we were not there, so we can't tell what happened. But he says, based on what he saw when he met the man there, he believed that he struggled with them. And he says that there were about 3 of the armed robbers who went in there. And he said he was in his house, which is opposite the deceased house. So he heard the noise, stepped out, and saw 3 people jumping the wall. Unfortunately, he could not see their face because it was light out and the place was dark. And so he went into the house and saw the nephew lying in the pool of blood. And I tell you, it's that bad that you can, when you step in it, you can actually get your feet soaked.
In blood?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
In the kitchen where he eventually passed.
So have the police been at the scene of the crime?
Yes, I'm told they've been at the scene. When I got to the scene, I saw the crime tape that they usually put to, you know, barricade areas where there have been such cases. And I was told they had visited the place twice, taking some fingerprints. And actually, there's a car parked in front of the house, which is for the deceased. They jumped on that car. You can see the marks of their feet on that car. I'm told that the police looked at that as well. So they've been to the place. The uncle tells me that the Greater Accra Regional Police is actually also interested in that case and they'll be looking into it.
Okay, Beatrice, thank you very much for that update. That was Beatrice Edu bringing us up to speed with that particular one. We're taking a break here. We'll be back with some more.